It is March 2026. For months now, our team has been deep inside an investigation, piecing together how an operation to systematically remake the US government has been unfolding. And what we found? Well, it's not some theory. It is a very real, meticulously executed blueprint. It's called Project 2025, and it's happening all around us. This is the story of how that plan became a reality. Okay, let's just start with the most critical number we've uncovered. Based on data from the Project 2025 Executive Action Tracker, more than half, 53%, of this plan's administrative goals are either already in motion or completely finished. The deconstruction of the government isn't something that's on the horizon. We're already past the halfway mark.
So the big question is, how did this happen so fast, with this level of precision? Well, to understand that, you really have to look at the architecture of the operation itself. This was never some kind of grassroots movement. No, this was a top-down administrative revolution that's been years in the making, and it's being run by a very dedicated high command.
And look, the goal was never some big secret. The head of the Heritage Foundation, which is basically the strategic nerve center for this whole project, he said it right out in the open. This wasn't ever about a policy debate. This was about preparing for a colossal undertaking, their words, to grab the levers of government and, well, to dismantle what they call the administrative state.
Now, this is where it gets really interesting. You have to understand this symbiosis. Heritage isn't working alone here. It's at the very center of a massive coalition. We're talking over 100 different organizations. The best way to think about it is like a single organism. Heritage is the brain, providing the grand strategy, and then each partner organization acts like a specialized arm or a leg, carrying out attacks on different fronts: the courts, the schools, the economy, but it's all coordinated, all of it, to achieve one single goal.
And the people running this show, the command staff, they aren't just theorists. These are seasoned operators from the prior administration. You've got Russell Vought at OMB, controlling the money. Stephen Miller is driving the immigration and cultural agenda. Pam Bondi is positioned to bring the Justice Department in line. And incredibly, Linda McMahon is systematically taking apart the very department she's supposed to be leading. They know the system's weak points because they've been there before. And now, they're exploiting them from the inside.
So, let's move on to the how. How does this whole thing actually work? When you dig into the project's documents, you find this operational plan of just remarkable clarity. It is built on 4 interconnected pillars. This is the machine that drives the entire operation.
You have to understand, this isn't a political platform in the way we usually think of one. It's a takeover strategy. The mandate, that's the blueprint for deconstruction. The personnel database, that's the pre-vetted army ready to replace anyone who gets in the way. The academy is basically boot camp to make sure everyone is on the same page ideologically. And the playbook, that's the day one invasion plan. Every single pillar is designed to work together to ensure a swift and what they hope is an irreversible consolidation of power.
So Pillar 1, the mandate for leadership. Just imagine a policy document that's over 900 pages long. It's not a set of ideas, it's literally a chapter-by-chapter instruction manual for a hostile takeover of every single federal agency, laying out exactly what to do to assert political control.
So the second pillar is absolutely crucial. Its purpose is to enable the mass firing of the experts. See, this database was created to solve what they saw as a major problem from the first term, a professional civil service that could push back. This database ensures that the very moment an expert is fired, a vetted loyalist is waiting in the wings to take their place. It's designed to just decapitate institutional knowledge and replace it with pure ideological discipline.
And the last 2 pillars? They are all about speed and shock. The Academy trains these new appointees on how to control the very bureaucracy they're being sent to command. And that 180-day playbook? It's filled with pre-written executive orders just waiting for a signature. The whole strategy is to bypass debate entirely and just create irreversible facts on the ground before any real opposition can even get organized.
Okay, but this is not just some theoretical exercise. Let's really dig into the real-world consequences of this blueprint, not just for Washington, but for the daily lives of everyday Americans.
The single most powerful weapon that's been used is an executive order that created this new job category called Schedule Policy/Career. You really have to understand this. This is the legal tool that's designed to bring about the end of an independent administration. It just evaporates over 100 years of civil service protections. It reclassifies professional experts as political employees who can be fired for any reason or for no reason at all.
And the immediate results of that? An estimated 50,000 career civil servants are now completely vulnerable to a political purge. We're talking about the nation's scientists, its nonpartisan economists, its disease control specialists. Suddenly, their jobs no longer depend on their expertise, they depend on their perceived political loyalty. In this comparison here, it just lays out the fundamental transformation perfectly. What we are witnessing is the engineered death of a system based on merit, and it's being replaced by one based entirely on loyalty. This isn't reform. It's a complete reversal of the core principles of modern professional governance.
And it's not just us who see this. The world is taking notice. Objective international observers like the VDEM Institute have documented a shocking decline in America's democratic health. The U.S. has plummeted from 20th to 51st in their global rankings, and they cite the weaponization of the civil service and the erosion of checks and balances as the main reasons why.
Look, this isn't abstract. This affects your life. When fair housing enforcement gets gutted, it means your neighbor could be denied a loan because of their race. New work rules for food assistance? That means more families in your community going hungry. This is about your access to health care. It's about whether our military is focused on being ready to fight or on fighting culture wars. The consequences of this plan are being felt in every single community.
But this radical transformation is not going unchallenged. The sheer speed and scale of this project have triggered a fierce wave of legal and political resistance, and it's coming from the very institutions that the project is trying to dismantle.
Civil rights groups, public sector unions, they are fighting back hard in the courts, and they're actually winning critical battles. A federal judge ruled that the mass firings at Voice of America were illegal. The VA was forced to honor its union contract. An attempt to unilaterally end birthright citizenship has been frozen by the courts. These legal firewalls are holding for now, but they are under a relentless assault.
So here's where we are. The deconstruction of the American state is more than halfway done. This blueprint is no longer just a warning for the future. It is our current reality. The court battles that are going on right now and the upcoming midterm elections, they are now the central battleground. They will be what determines whether this transformation is just a brief, radical chapter in our history or if it becomes the permanent new foundation of American government. The outcome isn't inevitable, but the fight is here.